Hello, hello, hello. This is Lorenzo McCoy again. I'm going to make this brief. I'm on the way actually up to the gym. Pretty nice day. Still getting clients. I've been doing the 25 bucks a month. And you know what? I'm going back to $97 for the whole year. I love the clients I do have now, but just talking to people, I gotta do it, folks. I gotta weed out a lot of people that are on the fence and not knowing what they're going to do. And I just got to keep it real. When people pay, they pay attention. They also make sure they're going to put forth an effort. I've had people to pay the 25. I don't know if they just got drunk one day and say, yeah, I'm going to pay it. And it feels like I'm pushing them so much. And I didn't have time. Like, you don't have time to press play on a video. But I digress. What I really wanted to talk about was the Umar Johnson and Roland Martin laughing. Roland Martin interview. A lot of people, want to know my take on it. And, I haven't done many videos like this in a while, but I'm going to go back to it and I'm going to tell you why in another video. But let's jump into it. I think Umar Johnson holds his own very well as a Garveyite and as a Pan-Africanist. The thing that's very interesting that I got to put it out there for you guys, everybody, oh, what's the money for the school, the money. I'm here to say, shut up. As a black entrepreneur myself, incarnated in the flesh as a black man here in the matrix that we call America, I happen to know that you guys don't give two flying freaky turds about where other money is going until a black man has it in his pocket. Now, I've watched a couple of videos because I'm the type, I don't mind sending money to somebody that's doing something that I'm not doing right now. Now, me, my ex-wife, we did start a school. We talked to Umar Johnson about it. So if you haven't met the man in person yourself, number one, you more than anybody else should shut up. Also, if you have not donated any money at all, you should not take part in the conversation. Neither. Neither should you, neither should you others. Also, let's say you did send some money. How many times have you put money in little buckets for the March of Dimes, for the Red Cross, but you never bothered to look up that when you put in $1, maybe 5 cents is going to go to help somebody? Because the administrative costs take up a very large part of your donation. It looks like a nice storm. It's my favorite weather, a nice storm coming in. Sorry about that. I was looking at the sky. I'm a sky watcher. It's like a nice storm about to roll in here. But check that. I want you to really think about that. Now, I've watched many videos where he put it point blank. Because the Negroes, and of course, I call black people in America that are ignorant and don't know who they are and what they are, I call them Negroes. They're not black people yet. They're just Negroes. And they had his GoFundMe page locked down. Let me tell you why. Because there was so many inquiries and a couple of people in particular who he knows who they were. This guy's stealing the money. This is a fraud. So, of course, they got nervous and they froze it. Something like what PayPal does. They just froze it because they don't want to have, be afraid. They don't want to have the liability of it being true. So they're going to just freeze it first. And they did their research. And he put it out there. He made a video and basically said, this is what I had to tell him. Here's the bank. I want you to call the bank and you have my permission. I'll let the bank know that you have permission to ask them some very important questions. One case in point, when has Mr. Johnson taken out anything from this bank account? Any donations never go to his name. It only goes to the school fund's name. And it gets deposited right into that bank account. And he says he's never ever withdrawn 1 cent from that account. He's only put money in that account. Now, if he was lying, with all the videos that he has, don't you know he'll be in jail right now? Once again, he's a Garveyite. Do you know what happened to Garvey, Marcus Garvey? How they deported him? They did their best to find something on him, and eventually they tried to say he was a fraud, and he wasn't. He just got set up. You know, he was sending money to people in the mail. You know, they got him caught up through the IRS. And, you know, it's a federal crime because he was sending black people money and he was giving people money in the mail. But, you know, he had a lot of people that infiltrated his organization. You know, he was buying big ships to take black folks back to Africa. I'm talking about Marcus Garvey. And, you know, they put plants in there to make sure that he had non-seaworthy vessels that he bought. You know, a lot of different things like that. Umar Johnson, coming 100 years later, is a lot more smart than that. And because of technology, he has the ability to show that the funds have not been touched. Dude, this ain't just about putting up videos on YouTube. The federal government will love to shut him down, to shut that mouth. If he was caught tripping, he'd be in jail right now, and you will see him being investigated and put in handcuffs. The reason why you don't, I guarantee you, is because he's on the up and up. Now, you may not agree with what he says, but out and out saying something as slanderous that somebody's a fraud, I don't agree with that. Now, going back to this interview, it was an obvious setup, and I think everybody who saw it, you can see that. We're still talking about, out of all the times I heard him on YouTube, and he's right. He doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he has more videos than anybody else in the so-called conscious community. I think that's, and he's right about it. I just watched a video, and that's the reason why I'm putting this video up right now. I saw someone else put up a video that said, this is one of the best videos I've seen of him, and he's calling it his autobiography. Open these windows. And I liked it myself because he is somebody I follow along with so many other people. When I'm watching these videos on YouTube, man, I'm watching everything from astrophysics, which anybody knows me knows that's what I'm into, and I link that to my health fields. Of course, what's going on with black people, past and present and future, native peoples, period, all over the planet. And of course, eating healthy, workout videos, and I'm into, you know, I wanted to find out who the hell Xanatos, not Xanatos, but Thanos. I don't even remember now. The villain that's in Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, as looking for the Infinity Stones and all that. I was like, okay, now who is this character? Because I haven't been reading comic books in so many years. That's what I'm into. That's what it's for. You know, to study different languages. Shout out to that brother Lao Shu 5000, whatever he calls himself. Brother out there outdoing me with the languages, speaking perfect Mandarin, Cantonese, Japanese, Slavic languages. This brother is doing it. That's what I'm on YouTube for. So I'm saying that he obviously he put up a nice point in this video. Now, and I'm not talking about the interview yet, but I'm going back to his autobiography. Man, he broke down how he came on the scene, and I'll put a link to it, to this video, because I think anybody who feels like they are serious about the only reason why I haven't sent any money because, you know, I'm hearing he's a fraud. Watch his video where he breaks down exactly who he is, where he's coming from, and it's going to answer all your questions. Most of you aren't going to send any money anyway to anybody's school. You're just complainers. We have armchair revolutionaries and we have armchair haters and complainers that sit behind telephones and sit behind keyboards and just talk smack about everybody, but not doing diggity, shiggity. So in this video, he broke down, you know, the school I was looking into, they just sold it. We didn't have enough money. He breaks down how he even came up with the idea. You know what I'm saying? It was a school he already knew about. He met with people that knew that the school was up for sale. Everything, he's putting it out there. All you have to do is check it out. And I'm bringing this up and talking about YouTube. If that wasn't a setup interview, and the first thing they talked about again, what type of, and this guy's Roland's supposed to be a researcher. Dude, how many videos has he put out where he finally was like, okay, y'all are hounding this school I went to, and they're calling me, please, the school said they were getting 10 calls per day, and it's all Negroes. And I got to say, Negroes, black people, y'all not doing, okay, I'm sorry. Negroes, y'all not doing that to anybody else. There's nobody white, there's nobody Mexican, nobody Puerto Rican, nobody from any other culture that you would even dare call their school on them. You only do it to somebody who looks like you because that's the way you've been programmed to do. You think you're doing due diligence, but for some reason you don't do due diligence with anything else. You don't study the foods that you put in your mouth. You don't study, is this a good idea to go to this 4-year university and spend all this money? I just used to ask simple questions to people at different schools I went to. Did you ever go and study the job market to see if they're going to be looking for people in 4 years doing what you're doing? People don't even do that. Somebody in high school told me about that, and I never forgot it. It was a counselor. It was the smartest thing I ever heard. Check the different fields before you go into it to see if they're going to be looking for people in 4 years. People don't even do that. They just, I think this make a lot of money. Oh, this doesn't have any math in it. Let's keep it real. Oh, I don't have to do any math in this one. Ignorance. Due diligence. All of a sudden, y'all Matlock and Monk. I'm going to say Monk. Monk is pretty intelligent, goofy as he is. But everybody is Sherlock Holmes when it comes to black people. And I think it makes you look even more stupid. You think you're being astute. But he put out videos saying where he got his degrees from, if he has a license or not, and why. What field he's been working in for how many years. And he broke it all down. And I like this particular video, this audio biography, because if you would have watched it, you would have seen he broke all that stuff down. And I've seen many videos. I kept hearing it. I was like, man, why they hounding this guy about these degrees? Quiet as it kept. I went to 11 different universities and institutions, and I have 0 degrees. I am the smartest dumb person that people have ever met. And I don't say that with pride, but I have to admit it for certain dumb things I've done and as intelligent as I'm supposed to be. But yeah, I've gone to a lot of institutions. I love school. I'm what they call it? Institutionalized when it comes to schools. I'm addicted to education. I'm addicted to being in that school environment. And I like living on campus too. Yes, I do. I don't have to be in the dorm, but I like living my last apartment on campus. I miss it. But I can jump around the shuttle, go to the gym, go get something to eat and everything, and only have to concentrate on building up my businesses and going to class. And I'll be back. I'm going back to school too, and I will finally get my degrees. I'm 44 years young right now after all those schools I've been to. But I'm breaking it down about him. He has the degrees. And in that video, he put out something very interesting when he said, in the so-called conscious community, there are people calling themselves doctors and are not. And he's one. But y'all asking him, show me the degree, show me the degree. And I got to say he's right. He did put in that work to get those certifications. I'm going to plug this phone up right quick. I remember it was low. But he put in that work. And the first question that you ask this man on live radio, television, what about those degrees? I was like, oh man, we going there? You're going to waste time when we could be talking about serious stuff, it was all personal attacks. I hear you're not into black men dating white women, dating out the race. And the way that he saw it, it was interesting. The way that the so-called black feminist, the black so-called feminist woman that was there. He sort of knew when he was going to bring her in. I want you to go back and look at that interview. He sort of knew. He looked at her and said, "Hey," he almost said, "Sick 'em." Now, this is the part you were supposed to talk about. That's how it was. Then you had the very effeminate lavender tie down low brother on the end that called him, "You're a liar." And then if you really listen to it, you'll hear Umar didn't call him a coon. Should have. But he said, "And you're cooning," which is a verb. You know what I'm saying? He didn't come out and call him a coon until, after he, checked the guy first. And Roland, "On my show, there's nobody gonna," he trying to check Umar, which shows that he didn't even listen to what the other guy said. That's a very powerful thing to say. "Oh, you're lying." And cutting off somebody, it wasn't even his turn to speak. You cut off somebody, you call him a liar. That means that you are the real definition of the word. What's the song everybody likes? What's this? Wretch. You're wretched. You know what I'm saying? You call somebody a liar, you might as well call them a wretch. So he said, "And you're cooning," basically saying you are taking a position as the lapdog for your master. Now, a lot of people may not get this type of rhetoric. They might not get this paradigm from which I cometh. As a black man here in this country, I can love everybody, not my enemies. And I have friends that I love from many different races. But if you don't love yourself first and don't get that, and it was simple to me the way I was raised, yes, you can love everybody else. But just like what people talking about the N-word, what black folks say themselves, my father called my mama Keita. My mama's name is Marquita. And number one, you better call her Mrs. McCoy. You might be able to say Dorothy McCoy. Anybody that calls her Marquita better be somebody that grew up with her. Anybody that knows my father, people that grew up with him know him as Rootin' Tootin'. You can ask him how he got that. It's a whole nother story, But he played sports, played football. They call him Rootin' Tootin'. "Hey, Root, what's up? Go, Root." When they used to cheer for him on the sidelines of different sports he was playing. "Root, Root, 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 Root." But if you don't know him, you can't just walk up to him and say that. And we're not even talking about derogatory terms at this moment. We're talking about real terms of endearment, terms of kinship, terms that show that I remember you from childhood when you first got that name. Now here I'm in DeKalb, Illinois at this Y. I play basketball pretty strong. That's why when I'm doing my training and stuff, I'm showing people. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to jump on the scale again. My weight when I started my own program, I was 277 on June 3rd. Right now, I'm 250. So my program still does work, but I have to start documenting better for you guys. But man, they call me Kong. The problem I have with that, because it's a black man, I'm like, okay, is this some type of racial thing? King Kong? Then I'm thinking of the Irritated Genie breaking down the King Kong story. Is actually a story about Buck Johnson and him loving white women and stuff like that. And white men wanted to take him down and all that type of stuff. But I let it slide for now. Because I do play like King Kong up in there. Raw! You know what I'm saying? I regress. It's all about certain things that you have to decide, is that okay? Me, I'm the type, and you might see some videos where I use the N-word in it. I don't use it that much. But just like I use the term Negro, the N-word is way up under Negro. Negroes are just black people, or they could be black people, but they are so far up everybody else's buttocks that they don't allow themselves to evolve into a human being. So they're are too afraid of what everybody thinks that they don't understand. You can be proud of who you are. I hang with native people, real native people, not people who say, I got a little Indian in the family. I'm talking about full-blooded native people from everywhere on this planet. My Native American brothers here aren't shy about saying that they're native. They're proud of the people they come from, and they can still love everybody, but they love themselves first. There's nothing wrong with that. Read your Bible. People don't get it. Jesus really did say, well, this is for the children of Israel first. Well, actually said this is for the children of Israel. But for those that think he said something different later on, read your book. He said, I'm here for these people first. We got to get ourselves right. Then Paul, if you believe he saw the light way after Jesus wasn't even around anymore and said, Jesus told me, in this big light, asked the donkey I was riding, he saw it too. I mean, but that's your belief system, which is cool. But just read the book. It's okay to be about your own people. Why? It was his people getting oppressed by the Romans. Duh. And then they say, so when they said, honor your mother and father, that's your blood mother and father. And honor your neighbor, he's talking about other Jews. He wasn't talking about the Romans per se. Read your book. He wasn't feeling everybody. He didn't say the Nicolaitan neighbors. Now I'm getting off topic just a little bit. It's all connected. I want you to understand. I can see where this black man is coming from. He does embody Marcus Garvey. He does embody Khalid Muhammad. He does embody the more powerful aspects of W. Du Bois around the time he died, the more powerful aspects of Martin Luther King right around the time he died. Not the earlier Martin Luther King, the later Martin Luther King that became dangerous. Not the earlier Du Bois, 10%, the later one that moved to Africa. You know what I'm saying? So when I watched this interview, I'm like, oh, what's this hoopla about the interview? I don't just follow what all black folks do. Negroes do. Because it's usually stuff that is so beneath me, I can just care less. I'm talking about any base people, mundane people. If you black and you talking about wealth, getting in shape and health, spirituality, I'm with you. But that Negro stuff, I'm not with that Negro stuff. I'm not with that base cracker stuff. I'm not with that base so-called Hispanic ignorant stuff either. I'm not with anybody that's doing just dumb stuff just to be doing it because everybody's going that way. It makes me go the opposite direction by nature. I said, I'm going to check out this video because I kept seeing everybody coming up with their own synopsis of what happened. I was like, okay, let me check it out. Let me see what happened. Because I really don't like to see black folks going back and forth with each other. I said, let me check it out. I wasn't even thinking about making a video, but I said, I'm just going to check it out. But the first thing I saw, I was like, oh, that wasn't even fair. The first thing he did was talk about the degrees again. You a journalist, you could have called the school yourself. If it was a white person, I got to keep it real. If it was a European man that everybody had all those questions about, you as a journalist, you would have done that research yourself. And if you wouldn't have been able to find that information, then you would have checked that person and say, hey, I tried to call the school myself. They say they never heard of you. Could you please, people want to know. They would do that. They're not going to just not check it out yourself. That was the first red flag that went up for me. Then, of course, it was, and I get it, it's still TV and radio too. You want a little juicy stuff to, get people tense. I heard you don't, you're not into marrying outside your race and stuff like that. That's something I know. It's a hot button topic for a lot of people. I think he answered it pretty well. I've heard people from the Ku Klux Klan saying, I don't want to I don't want our race to be mutts. They don't know what they're talking about genetically, But if that's your opinion, I don't have any problem with that. You don't have to demean other people when you say it. But what they're saying is, I want, and this is something that Dr. Clark said that I had to remember. And if you really get this, and I want you to really get this, I know it's getting dark. Let me turn a little light for you guys. Yeah. If you really want to understand racism on this planet and stop playing with yourself, masturbating, which is okay, stop playing with your own mind and not getting why people have to hate you, black people, why they have to hate you, so-called Hispanics. Dr. Clark says something very important, and I'm talking about Dr. John Heinrich Clark. May he rest in power for always. He says something very profound. Every species, I believe it was him who said it, every species has a right to fight for their own. Meaning, what he was saying was, when a white man has sex with another white woman, why wouldn't he want his child to look like either him or that woman? To look like his mama, his daddy. Does that make sense to you? When a Japanese person has sex with another Japanese person, what's wrong with wanting that child not to be black? That's something that black folks got to get over. Everybody don't want black children. I know black is beautiful, but that's for you. It ain't about you trying to show the whole damn world. You have to get that. $1 billion weave industry. Oh, Noxzema, $1 billion industry. Oh, skin whitening creams. Oh, that's you got to figure that out and get that. Just because everybody, he disowned his daughter for dating a black man. That's extreme. But what's the underlying motive? She's going to totally change the bloodline. You don't get that? Not everybody wants to see your black ass in their gene pool. And there's a lot of black people that don't want to see your white ass in their gene pool. It's something that is just taboo to talk about in public. Racist. Oh, it is ignorant. And then they throw out dates. This is 2017. And it's actually not. You don't know what date this is. The sun is just moving. You're getting dragged around it. You don't know what date this is. It has nothing to do where the position of the sun is. People, once I understood that people genetically just want to be here. And they want to be here the way they are right now. When they see anything that's going to change it. So yes, Negro. When you're like, oh man, I'm the only black around here in this neighborhood. And they're like, oh, hey Buford. They love me. Maybe not, Buford. They really don't love you. Because the first thing that goes in their mind is Buford's cousin may want to feel comfortable here too. Buford's mama's boyfriend may want to move here. Buford might have children here a couple of years from now, and she's going to bring her boyfriend here. And this neighborhood, where I grew up with Mr. Zuckerberg across the street, I used to cut his grass. Miss Fogers over here, she used to make these peach preserves, that whatever your memories are. People don't have to share that shit with you. You just don't get it yet. Everybody else on the planet gets it except for you. So when a man has that opinion, so what? What does that really have to do with you? To where you get to crying, you're a liar. He said something very important. He said, name basically white institutions, not one individual, who set up a system to totally reverse the things that racism is doing to black people. There is nothing. You can't vote your way into freedom. You can't love your way into freedom. And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not saying, oh, revolt. Because you can't shoot your way to freedom necessarily either. You got to be, number one, an adult. You have to be able to think for yourself. I stopped doing all the black power stuff because you still got to be able to think. After I listened to hours and hours of Khalid Muhammad, a 100% pure black man that I know was unapologetically black. In the end, when I look in the audience, ain't nobody doing a damn thing. And when somebody puts a bullet in his head, when somebody poisons him, who's gonna step up next? Okay, you don't like that. What about, I'm losing the light, sorry about that. What about Martin Luther the King? Y'all say y'all like him. But when a bullet was put in his head, did you step up? I don't want to hear who stepped up after him. No, did you step up? No. Nobody wants that bullet. You can choose anybody. You can go to whatever extremes. Assimilationist, separatist, black nationalist, whatever extreme you want. Once that bullet comes down through somebody's head or heart, nobody wants to really step up. So you obviously don't love them that much. So I had to make a thought. Do I want to have children and really live a good life? Or do I want to put myself out there, get killed, and nobody do shit about it, and my children just starve to death? That's what's going to happen because we don't have a system set up to protect people that fight on your behalf. So I was like, let's get people eating right. Shit. Can I do that? That's a revolution in itself. Can I get people stop being fucking obese? Can I get people to put the medication down? You don't need to engage in any conversations about somebody starting a damn school when your black ass probably didn't even finish school. When your black ass is afraid of school. When your black ass won't even start a soup kitchen or even volunteer at one, let alone volunteering at a school. When somebody else is doing it, you shut up and let them do it. Give the money. If you go to fast food, that same amount you just spend that fast food, send that amount to him or anybody else. You may not like him. You may not like the way he looks. I don't care. Give it to somebody else then. Because when that little tray, that little box is up there, say, give to these children. You don't have a clue where that money's going. You're not intelligent enough to have looked, because I've looked it up myself. I was appalled. Number one, I was like, somebody, this is a white guy, found out what causes cancers, and cancer cannot exist in an oxygenated environment in 1929 or something like that. I put in a lot of my videos and get the exact name. I can't think of his name right now, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Just look at my videos that long ago, and we still putting coins in a box, talking about hopefully one day we can find a cure. I'm just too smart for that, and I had to stop putting money in there. You can't get me like that because I have knowledge. When you have real knowledge, you stop asking dumb questions. You got a degree? Look it up. He made hundreds of videos about it. Look it up. Be that next dummy calling the school. Did Umar Johnson go here? Y'all look so stupid. Okay, let's go. Okay, he said, and he broke down why he believed that a black man should be with a black woman, and then he gave his opinion. Why is that making you want to jump off a roof? Because somebody gave their opinion. There's a lot of opinions that are more detrimental to my worldview than that. And he broke it down. Basically, if a person says that they're fighting for black people, one of the biggest things you can show that you really with black people is by marrying a black person. Now, you may think, and I know the Negro mind, I'm a Negroologist. immediately you start thinking of all the ways that sounds crazy. But what you don't get, people that aren't black get it. They really do get it. A white person fighting for the rights of little white children. If people see them going to Africa, they're like, don't we have problems over here? Why are you going over there? You say you're for the children here. Why are you going to the other country? It makes no sense to us. What are you doing? That's what white people really think, because it looks weird. It does look weird. You need to explain it, because it looks crazy. I do. I look at it. Okay, why are all these people going to all these different African countries getting these black children, but they don't want the black children here? What are you doing with these children? You can't just say, well, they're in a good home. No. Why didn't they pick a black child here that looks exactly like that? What's going on where you had to go to Ethiopia to go get this little black baby? I'm curious. What's going on? And that black family, we just want a little baby. Then you come home with a white baby, and they usually don't give you all the white baby. But you actually looking for one. You know what they do? They do like this and scratch their head. Any reason in particular why you want a white baby? It looks funny. They have to ask the question because scientifically, genetically, it looks weird. Two chickens want to lay an egg, but they go sit on a rat. This is my baby. Rats would be like, what's going on? It looks funny. If you don't get that, how it looks funny, and people at least have to ask the question, my thing is, after somebody asks you the question, you just answer it. I think white people just look better. And I've heard Negroes say this, I want my child to have good hair, and this is a Negro I grew up with. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. I'm not going to put his name out there, but yeah, brother, you looking really silly to me. He says, I think white folks accept me. And it's just what black folks have gone through. It ain't his fault. It's not his fault, but he still has to become more intelligent about it. I think they accept me because I have a thin nose. And he used to say this when we were in elementary school, and I was like, it was just funny. It was like, what? And he was the first one I bring up Noxzema, actually because of him. He was the first person I saw, a black man. When I seen Noxzema in my mom's house and stuff, and she wasn't trying to make her skin white. It was for like if you got a little sore or something, you want that blemish to lighten up a little bit. You got this dark mark where you scratched yourself or you burned yourself. You put a little Noxzema or something on it like that, and it evens it out. You don't put it all over your skin. This dude used to put it all over his face. Oh, it's just for my face. I was like, why are you doing that? I said, is that what that's for? I said, yeah, I've seen my, different women, grandmamas, moms, might have that. I think that's just for little spots, bruises and stuff. Oh, well, it just evens out my skin. And I kept looking at him, and one day he just looked orange. This dark-skinned brother looked a little orange, and I could see it sort of burning his face. And I was like,